So hello everyone, welcome to my very small YouTube channel about knitting. My name is Isabelle, I am in France, I have 3 sons and I have 3 cats. Some say it's related. One of my cats is outside, it's raining, it's windy, we have a huge storm. She really wanted to go out, so there was one ray of light. You may see the light going down, so I decided to start filming because we are on a Thursday and I'm a little bit late. I could not film yesterday, so I may have to interrupt to let her in if the rain starts pouring again. So today it's going to be a video about my Woolly News series. It's the issue number 24, and where I'm going to be presenting what has caught my eye and my attention since, I published a video about my Woolly News, maybe something like a month ago, something like that. So I'm not a journalist. It's going to be my own pick and my own eyes on what I have seen, and of course I'm following, creators and other accounts that I like. So if that sounds good to you, please stay tuned. So I turned the camera on, I have lights, the light is going down. I hope it's not going to be too yellow or too, I see myself as being very yellow, but I don't have proper light. I have to buy some kind of proper lights. Anyway, as a tradition, I always start, like many other people, to talk about what I'm wearing. So I'm wearing my pull Zenzi that you have already seen. Not much on camera because I don't know why, but I wear it a lot, and in particular right now. It's made with mohair from the Pyrenees, mohair Cardigan. So not the fluffy kind of mohair, the more rustic kind of mohair. And the yellow, so that's the blue. The yellow part is a special edition from Laine Paysanne that, issued last summer, I think, a couple shades with Hall, which is a concept store in Paris. So I'm wearing that sweater a lot right now, and the design is from Marie-Amélie Designs, and she stopped designing, so she released all of her patterns for free. This one I did not find any online pattern because I have it from a book that she published, and I did not see she released the PDF online. So I don't think, if you don't have the book and the book is out of order, I don't think you can find the pattern online. And I'm wearing a bigger scarf. It's a long scarf, about that wide. And this scarf has sort of a story, so I'm not sure if you're here for the Woolly News that you're here to hear about my story, but that was the first pattern I knitted, or the first object I knitted when I had a burnout in 2018, and that helped me go out of the burnout. It's a very simple pattern. I made a rib 1 by 1 rib at the bottom. On each side, also 1 by 1 rib, and it's a moss stitch pattern. I do not recall if I bought the yarn on purpose or if I had it already in my stash. I don't recall, but yeah, it's a very warm piece, and as we are experimenting a very cold weather in France and very windy, I need to take some kind of comfort from my knits, and I have a pin that is not a shawl pin, it's a hair pin that I was using when I had long hair, and it's from COS, C-O-S, and yeah, it's just a plastic blue bead, and I liked that blue part. Okay, so now we can continue for the real reason you're here for the Woolly News. Okay, I usually start with a pattern that I want to highlight, a paid for one and a free one. And at first I thought I wasn't going to give any paid for pattern highlights today, because I'm going to be talking about a lot of patterns already in this issue for other reasons. But then, as I was kind of checking, what did I save for this issue, in between I kind of see things and I place them in a special folder, or I tag them a special way. This pattern came back to my attention, and I had saved it. I had forgotten about that, and I said, no, I cannot talk about it, because it's been published in Pom Pom issue 42, so that was last autumn. So I guess it's already been out for at least a month, and I can't not talk about it. It's the Gramercy Cardigan by Emma Dutcher. So she's French, and this pattern is just amazing. Like, you're gonna tell me every time you talk about patterns, you say they are amazing. Yes, because they are to me, and it's not for the faint of heart. It's die hard intarsia, so be aware. You may not want to venture into that world, but I'm really on the fence of buying the issue just for that pattern, because there are another book I want to buy, and by the time I publish the video, I may already have bought it. So I'm kind of on the fence. Thing is, Pom Pom, you can have the online version, so I'm not that pressured, because if I miss the prints, if it goes out of print, I still can get the online version. So I do not know, but this cardigan, the same, it has the same appealing to me as there is I'm not sure I recall the name. I will write it down, from the worsted book from Aimé Gilles, La Bien-Aimée. I need already a scarf or a small shawl intarsia, with intarsia. It was difficult, and I don't know if I will undertake casting on this kind of project, but it's really extremely beautiful. A bit of twisted pattern to highlight the intarsia, and the intarsia is just marvelous. Maybe also because I like the colors very much they chose for the sample, the one that is in the book. But anyway, a beautiful pattern, not an easy one, and one that is most probably gonna be stunning if you need it, and people are gonna be stopping you to talk about it. Okay, the sun is coming back, so it's gonna be in and out, and so I may have a lot of variation on the lights. So the second pattern I want to be talking about is a free one, and it's a pattern about fingerless mittens. It's Warm Mitts by Tracy Hill, and I found them looking around for a pattern for mitts for my youngest son. He asked for mitts for Christmas, and I already have a lot of patterns in my library for mittens. I knit the ones last year from Trelly's mystery box, and the pattern was made by Butzeria, written by Butzeria, created by Butzeria, and I was thinking maybe I'm gonna knit that one again. And at some point, I think it was in one of my Facebook groups, someone talked about this pattern, and they said they had knitted at least 20 also knit from this pattern because they liked the gusset. So I said, okay, that's good enough for me. So I had a look at the pattern. I have the yarn for that from my mother's stash. And I casted it on already. I cast the first one on already. And I'm just looking for how long I'm gonna be knitting for the rest, because I think, you know, he rides his bike a lot during the winter time and he's very cold. So I may you know, knit a longer wrist section before I go and create the gusset and see how the pattern is for that. But there are a lot of already projects on Ravelry, 279 projects, you know, when I looked. So I guess if the pattern was not that good, there would not be as many projects. So okay, there you have it. If you're on a run for fingerless mitten pattern with a night gusset, that's, you know, this one can be for you. It's 2x2 ribbing. I'm sure you can place some other embellishments on the back of the hand. I may do that. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing, but when I get there, we'll see. And I chose the same gray yarn. I made a hat for her, his girlfriend, so they will be matchy-matchy. Okay, next I'm going to be talking about trends or coincidences, things that, you know, I thought, okay, this many people are going, or several people are doing this, so maybe it's a trend or maybe it's a coincidence. The first one, I have two. The first one is I'm seeing these long stitches that you knit from rows below, and it depends on how many rows below you go and how far away from the row you knit under, and you know, the pattern changes from these characteristics and these, you know, how you knit it. And maybe I'm seeing that everywhere, or everywhere, you know, I'm exaggerating. I'm seeing that because maybe because I love the yoke from my sorrel sweater by Woolen Pine so much, and you know, I've been seeing these stitches at least in two quite bigger creators places. First, Karen, she's Casuarina girl, and she knit one sweater or t-shirt, and she called that stitch the pistachio stitch. I haven't seen that in the sorrel sweater description, so maybe it's not quite exactly the same type of stitch, but it has the same vibe. And so she said she had that stitch pattern from a YouTube tutorial. I'm going to link everything down below as I usually do, from Joanna's Web. And so the sweater or the t-shirt she's been knitting has this, the way the stitch from below is placed, very geometrical feeling, and it's really nice when, you know, my sorrel sweater, or the sorrel sweater, places the stitch more on columns, and then the width between each column increases as you make your yoke increases. The second one is the Cargill sweater by Rebecca Clow. She's a Crea Bea on YouTube, and she's published this sweater pattern quite recently, and it has got a lot of attention, and many people casted on this project. And once again, she's organized this stitch from below on column with I guess garter on each side, or reverse stockinette on each side, reverse stockinette on each side with a column of, you know, I don't know, maybe a regular stockinette, you know, a knit stitch and purl stitch on each side of each column. And so she has this motif about everywhere on all the sweater, and it looks very much to me kind of motif I made in my sorrel because of the column position. So yeah, these kind of stitches are really funny to knit, are quite impressive. You know, it's quite stunning when you see these stitch all over a sweater, like the Cargill sweater, and or all over some of the panels, the way Karen did. But yeah, so that was my first trend or coincidence. So the second trend or coincidence I want to talk about is embroidery. Embroidery? Embellishments? So I looked in my notes and I was absolutely certain I had already talked about Caroline Bloom. She's Bloom Handmade Studio, but everywhere. If it's not the right handle, I'll write it here, or you know, I link it down below as I usually do. And I'm quite amazed about her work, her sweaters. So she has and other, you know, she has hats and scarves and knits and other things. She has basic recipes for sweaters, and then she has these embroidery embellishments that so you buy the two things differently. The two patterns are two separate pieces. So one, you have the you know, sweater or hat or scarf or whatever recipe, and then you have the embroidery recipe, and you can mix match and, you know, use the ones that you like. And her sweaters are quite stunning, you know, with dark blue background and white embroidery. Just stunning. Her work is amazing, and yeah, that's how I when I saw her work, because I saw embroidery on many other patterns before that, and when I saw her work, I said, oh, this is what I want to be doing one day. And you may have noticed I want to do so many things. Anyway, this embroidery that she does, it's her trademark. I've seen two other big creators publish patterns that use the same technique and the same idea. First, not in any order, just the one I have before my eyes, is the Jericho's Rose sweater by Pia Trance. So she's published this sweater to use your Advent minis to make a color work on the yoke, and then you have the rest of the body that, you know, has a contrast or a main color and many contrasting colors. And she placed embroidery of flower embroideries on the sweater, on the yoke, with the same color as her main color. So the first one she made, the sample she made, is a clear main color, white or beigey or lighter gray color. So the flowers are of the same, you know, light color on a darker, quite busy yoke with color work. Personally, I'm not sure I would embroider a color work yoke. I think it's too much, but you know, I like her finished object, and I like the way she wears it, and you know, if you do like that, good for you. And the second sweater was published by Isabel Kramer after she came back from the hospital and all of health issues, and you know, I've been, you know, sending good brainwaves over to her, even though she doesn't know me at all. And that's her back, and you know, the L is in parentheses, so it's back to life and black to life, because the sweater, it's a simple, I would say a simpler sweater, is black. And she made some golden or light cream or light beige embroidery with what looks like either stars or flowers on one of the shoulder and one of the bottom of the side. A bit like tattoos. And I you know, I like this sweater very much. I like the idea, I like the look, I like the feel. I do not have any tattoos, but I'm always looking at tattoos because I would maybe one day like to have one, a hidden one. And on the side, on the shoulder is where, you know, I like to see other people having tattoos. And yeah, this sweater is really nice, and I haven't bought the pattern, and but you know, I may do at some point, and I need that sweater or need another sweater and use her embroidery pattern to embroider it. Yeah, embroidery on sweaters with either flowers or stars or things like that. It's a trend or a coincidence. Okay, next is about Madeline Tosh, the Mad Love project. And you may have noticed I always have a link in my description box about that type of project that I support and I like very much. And also for the Red Cross that take care of children and other people in Ukraine, because we still have a war, and you may have seen the news, the recent news, and we still need to help these people. And these two projects I like a lot, so I'm placing links in every description box since, you know, I've started to do that. Anyway, so Madeline Tosh, her Mad Love 4 booklet is out. So I got the one from last year, I guess it's the Mad Love 3, and I still have to knit the beret that is in it. When I was talking the last time at some point about knitting a beret, this is the one I was referring to. I may not have said it because I'm not quite sure, but anyway. I want to knit that beret. So the number 4 booklet is out, and there is no real pattern that is, you know, jumping at me like it was last year. But the mittens are quite interesting, and as I want to do some kind of gingham pattern for my next call with the yarn that Paulin, his girlfriend, got me for my birthday. Yeah, the gingham or, you know, checkerboard mittens are quite funny, so you might find them funny. There is also a hat, scarf, a kind of a throwover or oversized sweater, and socks. So yeah, if you want to support their project, yeah, please do get the Mad Love 4 booklet. Okay, next is a couple stories about, a couple points about books and magazines. First, this is old news, but maybe you've already seen it, maybe not. Making Stories magazine has changed, and in particular the videos. I like their videos. I like, sometimes they were making some Instagram videos, and there is one that I saved about accessibility in patterns, and that I thought was extremely interesting, extremely educational. I'll try to link it down if I can retrieve it for you. I've already linked it, I think. And yeah, so Claire has left Making Stories, and she's going for other adventures. You know, she's talked about it in the last video she did with Annalisa, who is right now continuing on her own. And you know, I've enjoyed her the videos she's made since Claire left, and I continue to read and appreciate what she does. So yeah, I, you know, subscribe to their newsletter and to their channel, because this is a very little corner from the on the internet that I like a lot. So next news about books is about Len magazine. You say line, huh? I guess I hear people say that. Len is Len for me. Anyway, this is the way I say it. Len magazine has released a new 52 weeks of book, and this time is the 52 weeks of easy knits. So it's not released yet. You can pre-order it. It's going to be released on December 9th. And so if you pre-order, it's going to be shipped after that date. So there are 52 easy knits, beanies, mittens, scarves, sweaters, socks, cardigans. And at first I was thinking, I'm on the fence, and I'm still a bit on the fence, but I may have bought it before this video goes up. We'll see. I was thinking, easy knits, I'm all for that. I like to have an easy project and a more complicated project at the same time on my needles. Sometimes the easy project goes a bit faster. Sometimes the more complicated project goes faster. Whatever that suits my mood and how I am feeling right now. But some of the projects are with chunkier yarn, and I do not need that much with chunky yarn. But looking at the pattern, so that was when I first skimmed over, that was my first impression. I'm not going to be getting it. When I looked a bit further down in the patterns, a closer look for, this issue today, I saw many patterns I liked. There's Diamond Twill by Nina Pomerenke. Sorry if I'm butchering your name. There is Funny Turtle by Teti Lutzak, and I like her work very, very much. And the Javelin sweater, and I guess Rosemary is gonna, understand what I'm talking about. That's a private thing between Rosemary and me. So the Funky Turtle, by Teti Lutzak. It's a very nice pattern once again. There is the Give Me Tea by Jenny Ensa, and the Jutu, so it's a sweater, I think, or a cardigan. I guess it's a sweater by Isabel Kremer. Maybe a cardigan. I will have to check again. Because the picture I have right now doesn't show which one it is. These four ones, and there is a beret also that I like, kind of sold me on buying the book. I found a store in France that is going, that's offering pre-sales. I'm really on the fence, and the more I look at the pattern, the more I'm thinking I would like to get the book, because Lane magazine doesn't publish online, they do publish online individual patterns, but I like the book itself, and I like their publication, the paper, the way they publish their either the magazines or the books. I'm a big fan, and also, although I haven't bought, and I won't buy the 52 weeks of socks, because I do not need socks. I loved the 52 weeks of shawls, and at first for today I wanted to place my the name escapes me, the shawl I need from that book, and there are a couple of more lined up, and the color, it's the light pink, and it did not go very well with my sweater, but the 52 weeks of shawls, I read the book like a book, not for patterns. I just I read through patterns sometimes, and I get ideas, and it's an investment, but it's a very well used investment for me. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be pre-ordering the 52 weeks of Easy Knits, because but that's the pom-pom issue from last fall. That's and there are other patterns in that pom-pom issue I haven't talked about, but that I like. The 52 weeks of easy knits. What am I going to be doing right now, today, right now, at this very time? I'm leaning towards pre-ordering the 52 weeks of easy knits. Anyway, maybe I will, maybe I won't. You'll know that in a little bit. But yeah, please have a look at that book because the patterns are really nice. Okay, next is going to be my last item, which is who am I knitting with. So as far as video, I won't be talking again about Supernatural because this is the show I'm knitting with. I've already talked about it last time. I guess by next time I will have finished this show, watching the show, and I will be able to be talking about some other things I'm watching. So, but to be honest, sometimes I watch YouTube videos, but doing other things, not while I'm knitting. While I'm knitting, I watch Supernatural, mostly during the evenings. So, which music am I listening to? Who am I listening to right now? And I guess it's not only when I'm knitting, because I listen to a lot of music. So there will be a subsection for music, because not only when I knit, I listen to music all the time when I'm not doing teaching or things like that. But of course, but when I travel in the bus, and when I'm in at home, when I sometimes knit, when I eat, whatever, when I get up. And today, I would like to highlight a group, two French people, and it's French electronica, but it's really soft music. It's between electronica and world music. And my youngest son, Paulin, had me discover that group because he offered me, I'm not sure it's their first CD. It's called Caravelle, and it's Polo et Pan. So that's the box here. I'm trying to do it that way so that it doesn't flash too much. So this is Caravelle, and the second one I bought on my own is Cyclorama. These two CDs, it's part of my also Sunday morning music that Saturday morning or weekend morning or leisure morning. I listen to these two CDs very, very often. It's light, it's happy music, it's world and electronica, so a mix of two worlds that or two musical sounds and ambience I like. It's very soft, very enjoyable, and I can assure you, I think one of their music was used for commercials in France, so they got very well known after that. And I can assure you that if you are listening to this group, Polo et Pan, they will place happiness into your life, in between your ears, because happiness is not going to be coming all by itself. We have to actively work on that. And one of the way is listening to happy and lighter music, and that put smiles on your face and lighten your mood. And I do hope that these kind of 35 minutes or 30 minutes we spent together did bring you happiness, and that you can actively place it, because we do need to work on that in these darker times, in this darker world, and not, to leave all the darkness come onto us. This is the reference to Supernatural. So yeah, I thank you very, very much for watching, for listening to me for this episode, and I will see you next time.